That does not sound good. Throwing in the towel, blaming Russia. Not a solution that's going to help the American people. Meanwhile, Biden yesterday invoked the Defense Production Act to boost domestic clean energy production, including solar panel parts. Joining us now to talk about the administration's energy policies, Executive Director of Power the Future, Dan Turner. Dan, welcome back to the show. It's good to see you. So this administration, they keep putting all the blame on Putin, saying it's all his fault. I will say gas has gone up $1 in the last 100 days since this war. So do they have a valid point at all?
No, gas has been going up since Biden took office, since he put his very first executive orders into action. Look, just the Friday before Easter on Passover, he made only 20% of available land for oil and gas leases. The week after that, he removed 1 million acres of oil and gas leases from Alaska and the Gulf of Mexico. You add on top of that the regulatory burden of the EPA, and then you add all the financial burdens punishing banks who would want to lend to the fossil fuel industry. They've sent many signals. But look, this is clear. He said this during the campaign. He said he was going to phase out fossil fuels. He said he was not going to allow more drilling. He's put all this into action. He just does not want to deal with the political ramifications. But this is exactly what he intended. Make no mistake.
So when they say there's literally nothing more that they can do, their hands are tied here, that's just not true.
No, it's completely not true. There's nothing more they want to do because they want this as as a reality. They want to push in this wind and solar utopia. That's why they authorized the Defense Production Act to force companies like the communist czars of the past to force companies to manufacture solar panels, right? They want this to happen. And in order to make this happen, they had to make fossil fuels unattractive. America loves their fossil fuels because we love inexpensive goods. We love reliable energy. We love road trips and jumping on the plane to go on vacation for the weekend, right? So to make fossil fuels unattractive, they had to make them very, very expensive. This is exactly part of their plan. Like I said, they don't want the political fallout, but this is exactly what they intended, and they're not backing down from it.
So I want to play something that Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary, said today as well. Listen.
With respect to energy, the administration has done everything that they can to bring down energy costs, for example, through an historic release of 1 million barrels a day from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, and energy prices, gas prices, while very high, have risen a lot. They would be higher without that.
Okay, so they've released 180 million barrels, or allowed for 180 million barrels to be released. I mean, is this helpful? She's saying it would be way worse without this.
Yeah, it's one of the things I love about being on the left is that you're always allowed to be judged by the unknowable, right? So we love to say, well, it would be worse if we had not taken these actions. Yes, everything is terrible right now, but imagine how bad it really would be. And that's an absolute unknowable. The fact is, since Biden has done these strategic releases, gas prices have continued to go up and continue to go up pretty seriously. They acknowledge one thing, though. We have a supply problem. So he's trying to increase the supply. He's doing it through the strategic reserves. He's doing it going hat in hand to the Saudi king to beg them to produce more oil. But nowhere will they say we want America to produce more oil. So again, we will find supply, but not domestically, because if fossil fuels come to the rescue, then that admits that fossil fuels are actually good. And if you want a green agenda, fossil fuels cannot ever be the winner or the hero in the scenario.
So answer me this, because today Gina Raimondo was talking about how they have asked domestic oil companies to produce more oil and given them these permits to increase. Is that the whole story there? I mean, tell me why that isn't a real solution.
Yeah, ask anyone who's watching right now if you've ever tried to build a house. And the first step you get is you buy the land. But do you have permission to dig a foundation, dig for septic, dig for well, construct anything? How many county permits do you go to if you want to build a shed in your backyard or build a deck? So the Biden administration likes to say, well, you have these 9,000 permits, use them. That's step one. Do we have permitting to drill exploratory wells, to extract, to transport? Right? There are multiple steps in this process. And if you know the Biden administration, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC, as it's called, headed by Richard Glick, if you know all of these people are punishing you at every step of the way, why would you invest in drilling? It's a bad investment. Even at $120 a barrel, it is a terrible investment because you know the government will not work with you. Like it or not, we need to work with government to bring oil and gas to market. And if government refuses to, the industry is absolutely handicapped. And that's where we are right now. It's totally Joe Biden's doing.
Unbelievable. But it's Putin's doing, right? Daniel Turner, thanks for being here. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of climate change, do you remember this dire warning from Prince Harry back in 2019?